Hey, everybody.
Howdy, howdy. You zhuzhing yourself up?
I'm zhuzhing. Hey, everybody. It's
down again.
What?
Your hair's down again.
I know. Oh, gosh. Now you sound like my mother.
Sorry.
Hi, everybody. It's One-Click Lindsey and Lyndsay Phillips. One-Click Lindsey with trafficandleads.com. We're here for marketing and Merlot. Where's the drum roll? Yes. Oh, what are you drinking? It's fizzy on the top.
It's a beer.
But it's in a wine glass, so it totes counts.
It does count.
It totes counts. All right. If you're here, say hello so we know that you can hear us.
Yes.
I'm just going to do one more sharing here. Okay. So every Thursday night, my friend Lyndsay Phillips from Smooth Business Sailing Online Group.
You're an adult. We've known each other for a really long time. She has a really bad memory, apparently.
I have a crappy memory.
I need to repeat myself. Smooth sailing business growth, baby.
I said that.
You said smooth business sailing growth. You're dyslexic.
And we meet every Thursday night. And tonight we're going to talk about podcasting. Actually, I'm in charge of the comments here. So I'm going to go ahead and put the word podcasting. Podcasting.
Hi, Lynn. I love Lynn. And it was her birthday just the other day, too. She is also a Pisces. It's FBLive.tv. So that's the system that we use. And that's how it has that little get reminder thing in there.
Yes. And it's so awesome.
I know. I love it.
And even the free thing is pretty cool. So, yes. I've lost my comments. Okay. So, Lyndsay, hey, David, how's it going? Hey, ladies.
Not enough Merlot. Some days are like that, where there's not
enough Merlot. Not yet, anyway. So, podcasting. Let me preface this by saying, when I first went to Jim Palmer's Dream Business Academy event many years ago, they had a breakout session about podcasting, and I was like, I don't need this. I don't know anything about it, but I'm sure it doesn't apply to me. And now podcasting is the cornerstone of all of my inbound marketing. So That's why you need to listen to tonight, because regardless of the niche that you are in or what you do, you could benefit from being a guest, which is easier than you think, and running your own podcast show. So, Lyndsay, how do we find out more about your podcast show? Where do we find it?
They can go to smoothbusinessgrowth.com, and that happens to be the title of my podcast, which is Smooth Business Growth Podcast, 15 minutes of pure marketing strategies proven to move the needle in your business.
And it's really awesome, and it's only 15 minutes. I like your strategy. I really like it.
I love it. And I get really focused on the questions that I ask. And those that I interview are like, oh, these are good questions. And they're really focused. And I know there were some naysayers that said you can't give enough value in 15 minutes. And
really,
I think I'm proving them wrong.
I think you're proving them wrong. And I think some people only have time for 15 minutes. And so, some people don't want to dedicate all that time.
I know.
They just want a quick tip.
Exactly. I like to get in, get the points, and move on and implement. Now, you've got a couple of shows.
I do. My main one that most of you guys would be interested in is the Traffic and Leads podcast, which I interview and do solo episodes on how to generate more traffic and leads for your business. I also host the PDX Small Business Network podcast, and we can talk a little bit about why I do that a little later. If you want.
That's a wicked awesome strategy.
Yes, it is. Do you want to start? What side of the mic do you want to start on tonight?
I would say hosting. Because I think a lot of people are really fearful of hosting their own podcast show. Agreed. I mean, part of it is they're like, the investment in the cost. They worry, like, what can I talk about? Or how am I going to find my guests? Or they're just nervous about putting themselves out there or even knowing all the techie stuff, right? There's so many things that are holding them back from starting their own podcast. I mean, me included, I was scared shitless.
Yes.
I was like, I held back, and our trusty business coach said, no, here's what you need to do. So I sucked it up and did it. And I'm so glad I did.
Yeah. So what was the main thing holding you back from hosting your own podcast?
I was freaking out about, like, I'm going to interview people I don't know. And then, like, what if I stutter? What if I ask stupid questions? And, like, how am I going to moderate it? And just, like, who am I to have my own podcast show? Like, that whole, like, so many things.
Yeah, I agree. And just so everyone knows, let me do a quick, like, why you should host your own podcast. First of all, once you get the tech stuff worked out, it's really not that big of a deal. Buy yourself a decent mic for $50 on Amazon and go to Fiverr, have someone create an intro and outro. You can get, like, the whole radio voice going from Fiverr. And you can even, like, you can get Camtasia or GarageBand and, like, kind of modify it on your own or edit it. I have a professional editor. Lindsay probably has a professional editor, but you don't have to. Here's the thing is podcasting, hosting your own podcast show can be the cornerstone of all of your online marketing. Like, it can produce, you know, a 15-minute soundbite plus a blog post plus snippets plus all this stuff that you guys are all like, I don't know what content to make. And all of a sudden you can be seen as a professional leading edge contributor in your field. And I don't care what field you're in. We have, Lindsay, I'm sure you can add to this list. Yeah. Weight loss or contractors or, like, just, it doesn't matter. Right? Even the more niche-y it is, the better it goes. Oh, here's one who has a great podcast, Rose Jubb. So easy once you get the beginning stuff done. Thank you, Rose. Rose hosts a podcast. She is a stylist. Rose, will you put the name of your podcast in here? Rose Jubb. I know I should know it. I'm sorry, Rose.
Looks very stylish in that picture of her.
Oh my gosh. If you guys want style, I'm just going to do a quick shout out. If you guys want stylist information or you're not sure what to wear in the morning, Rose is legit. And she started a podcast and it's so awesome. First episode is how to clean out your closet. Like, who thought there was a podcast on how to clean out your closet?
I can believe it. Style class.
I knew that, but what's the URL? Is it styleclass.com? It's not styleclass.com, is it, Rose? Now I feel bad. Yes, it is. It's mystyleclass.com. Go listen to Rose's podcast. Thank you. She noticed I had a haircut. That's what a stylist does.
You're, like, in a ponytail, so I never know if you get a cut or not.
Well, Rose is my stylist, and so you know.
I know.
Oh gosh.
The thing is, too, is, like, some people are like, I don't have time for a podcast. Honestly, you just have to book it and record it, and you can, you know, outsource all those moving pieces, all that back end.
Reach out to Lindsay. That's what she does. Lindsay, what do you do for podcasts?
Well, we do the editing, and we communicate with the guests and let them know when it goes live and get their bio and their headshot and all that good stuff, and put it in Libsyn and publish it on your website, do all the social media posts, do email blasts, make sure that it's getting out there to all the right channels. We push it to YouTube and then optimize the YouTube end of things as well. I mean, there are so many different things you can do. And yeah, if you just book it and record it, boom.
Yeah. Like, I know there's, like, these sound snobs and, oh my gosh, what is the listening quality in this? And yeah, I want you guys to come off as professional, but literally, I think you can get a podcast started, edited, and posted for less than $150. I really do.
If you're doing it yourself, obviously.
Yeah, if you're doing it, it's either, like you said before, it's either time or money, people. So
you got to know what your value of your the worth of your time is, right?
And it's not worth editing your own podcast, and that's why you need to reach out to Lindsay.
Oh God, it's such a pain in the ass. Editing videos and audio is, like, to me, the worst thing ever. Oh.
Yes.
I have no time.
I also wanted to talk a little bit about how easy it is to get guests if you're a host for a podcast. If you want to do an interview style podcast, so easy. I've had the biggest names in online marketing on my podcast, trafficandleadspodcast.com. Like, since when can I call up not Frank Kern wasn't on my podcast. Sorry. Yeah, I wish. Joe Paluzzi, who is the godfather of content marketing. When could I walk up to him at a conference or even email him and say, can I just steal a half an hour of your time there, Joe? I know you're the godfather of content marketing. He would be like, I don't know who you are, but guess what? He was on my podcast and I got to pick his brain for 30 minutes. So that's one of my favorite.
I love that. I actually this afternoon wrote a blog on the best ways to get a flood of guests for your podcast show. So that will be going live in a couple of weeks.
Oh, can you give us a tip? Or are you just going to tease us? Are you just teasing us today?
I like to be teaser though, huh?
Yeah.
Obviously, you're picking your friends and what have you, and your colleagues and stuff like that. People don't even think about getting referrals. If you have a guest on your show, ask them, hey, who do you know that is an expert in, whatever, or is going to provide value and would be a great guest on my show. And then also, I think we learned this from Yanni Lunga, who is like Podcast Success Academy, who's freaking awesome, is find out who has a book that's going out and releasing, because people that have books releasing or launching, they want to be everywhere and promote the book, right? I'm like, damn, that's a freaking wicked awesome idea. And same with, different groups that you have. Don't be afraid to make connections and say, hey, I love what you share, and, whether it's mindset or whatever it is, I would love for you to be on my podcast show and talk about this.
Yeah.
They feel honored, right? And
they will totally do it. You'd be shocked how easy it is.
And think about all the different tools that you use, or people in business, or partnerships, or connections that you have. It's like we work together. Obviously, you were on my show, but like even Social Champ, I use it. Wave. What were the other ones that I used? Lead Pages. The owner of Lead Pages I had on my show, or the creator of Lead Pages. So like all those different softwares that I'm a software geek, but like
you are. You really are.
You use it and you want to promote it, then they are like, damn, for sure. I want it. The guy from TubeBuddy, he was on my show. I totally geek out with that stuff.
Yeah. Or you can go and see other podcasts, just like type in podcasts and go see who is a guest and just reach out to them and they will be your guest, because they're obviously like making the rounds on the podcasts. So
totally. And if you have a guest or a friend and they do a podcast, look to see who has, I can't even talk tonight, who has been on their podcast. Like I know I've said to you before, oh, I saw you interviewed this person. I loved that interview. Can you please introduce us?
Yep.
If you ask someone to introduce you, you're in like Flynn. Yeah.
And if you don't mind, I would like to reiterate that this isn't just about people who listen to podcasts via iTunes or Stitcher or any of those. Like, yeah, those are definitely people who listen, but you could also post it on your website. And like I said, you have all these snippets. Like, it's not just the people that are podcast junkies that are listening, even though that's a huge demographic of people potentially who will be your customer, but people will listen to it from all over the place. Oh, Rose. Oh,
Rose comment there.
Yay, great. Good. That's why you come to Marketing and Merlot. Hopefully you have a glass of wine, Rose.
Awesome.
So it's really cool. If you don't mind, I'll talk about my other strategy. So I run this podcast too, PDX, smallbusinessnetwork.com. For those that don't know, I live in Portland, Oregon, and it's a really cool city. And so I run this podcast, PDX Small Business Network Podcast.com. It's not because I actually think anyone will listen, but literally I reach out to small business owners in the Portland area and ask them to be a guest on my podcast. And they are a guest. And then during the pre-interview and post-interview, they always ask, well, why are you doing this? And I tell them what I do. They remember me. It's a good connection. Like, I'll just give the perfect example. It's awesome. I go to networking events, and when I used to go and say, yeah, I'm an online marketer, then everyone's like, please don't sell to me. I hate you, right? Because everyone's selling something.
I don't even know what that means, because they might be a bricks and mortar business, right?
I love it. Yeah. So instead I'll be like, oh, I'm the host of the PDX Small Business Network podcast. And they're like, what? What's that? They're like, want to be a guest? And it just opens so many doors.
Yeah.
So literally that podcast, I don't care who listens. I'm literally doing it to meet people. Rose is one of them. Like Rose is on my podcast and I'm going to call her my friend. We've been great friends ever since.
Is she your stylist? Is that
She is. She's literally my stylist. Yes.
She looks awesome at DBA, by the way. All her classes are beautiful. She looks incredible.
I looked super hot last DBA.
I know. The other thing that surprised me about podcasting, which I didn't really think about, for me, it was all about sharing the content and getting that expert status and just getting more exposure. But it was the connections of who I interviewed. Like some of them, honestly, are friends. Like we are totally connected. It has opened up doors. I've been on summits, guest speaking, and different things like that, or just great connections and picking their brain or referrals, whatever it may be, from those connections of those people being on my show. And that is like invaluable.
Yes. Yes, I totally agree. And also the most important thing, you can get customers. Some of my best customers, and I know I've told this story before, but I'm going to tell it again, have found me on my podcast. They'll email me, hey, I really need you. I'll actually shoot them back a price. And I have closed thousands of dollars of deals with people I've never talked to because they trust me because I'm a professional.
And it's almost like if you're an author, if you're a speaker, if you're on podcasts, if you're a podcast host, then you're on this like upper echelon kind of of like, you know your stuff and you're sought after and you're high value and all of those, you know, preconceived ideas and emotions and thoughts and first impressions, they're all wrapped up in that. It's killer.
So that's why you guys should start your own podcast. You just you literally have to. I don't care. One of the most successful podcasters in a niche that I ran into was someone who did a podcast on Beachbody. And they just talked about Beachbody, and they would find their downline through their podcast.
Yeah.
You have these Beachbody coaches. How do I sell more Beachbody? And like he literally built $1 million business based on his podcast.
I can believe
awesome.
That.
Yeah.
And it's funny, like do you have a preference on like the hosted style or interview style? Like, you know, where the ones where it's just one person talking for 20 minutes?
Yeah, so I do a mix on mine, so I don't have a preference because I'll do interviews, but I'll do a lot of solo episodes too. Is that what you mean?
Yeah.
I don't care how you do it, just do it. But what is your preference?
I know. You know what? And I changed it to a 15-minute format with the thought that I was going to do more solo episodes. And honestly, I'm like turning people away to be a guest on my show. I'm booked up until June. So I'm like, oh yeah, I was going to do some solo episodes, wasn't I? I totally forgot all about it.
Yeah. And that's the other great part is a lot of content marketing. You guys struggle so much with, we all struggle with the content piece. This is on your calendar. If you get into a system, you like just do it and send it and it's done.
I know. Here is a golden nugget, people. And
I have to make an announcement. Hold on. Golden nugget alert. Okay, we're ready now. We are ready.
Woo! All right. If you do a Facebook Live talking about whatever, or even interviewing someone, and you have, let's say, repurpose.io, and I interviewed Handy Mori as a side note, that Facebook Live will get pushed to YouTube as a video, and then you can, embed it onto your website, but it also gets pushed to Dropbox. So you can use that audio and publish that as a podcast. So you do one live Facebook, it becomes a video that's evergreen on your website for content and SEO, and on YouTube for subscribers, and it gets pushed to Dropbox, and you can make podcasts out of it. So you can take a blog, really, and talk about the blog, make a Facebook Live, and repurpose the hell out of that one piece of content. Boom, you're done.
Yes, and Facebook will love you because Facebook likes live video. So Facebook will love you for it. Why do you think we're here every Thursday night? Because we like you guys.
And we like to connect and chat and have drinks.
I know. All those things too. I know. Oh, if you have a podcast and you're listening, please feel free to post it in the comments. In fact, I met Lyndsay roundaboutly through a podcast. I was on Jim Palmer's podcast and met Lyndsay through that. So thank you, podcasting. Mwah, mwah, right?
There you go. I know. And
hi, David. He says, awesome. I think David's mind was blown. I really do.
Woohoo!
No, I like that. What was the name of that software again? Repurpose.io?
Yes. And so, if you go to smoothbusinessgrowth.com, I know I have a video somewhere of Repurpose and Handy Moore's other, he's like a software freaking whiz. Oddly enough, he lives like an hour and a half away from me.
Oh.
I know, isn't that a weird thing?
That's fantastic.
I didn't know he was Canadian. I love he calls them softwarepreneurs or something like that, or some cool term. But
that is cool. I like that.
I know. He is.
Do you want to talk? Cool. Should we talk about the other side of the mic, which might be a little more palatable for everyone?
Yes.
It's less intimidating technology-wise.
Let's focus on you, right?
Yeah, you still need a good mic. But let's talk about. Let's start with the benefits, Lyndsay. What are the benefits of being interviewed on a podcast?
You increase your exposure like a bazillion times over, and you are seen as an authority figure on your topic, and you are leveraging your expertise. And you're sharing, you can grow your e-list like crazy. My e-list has dramatically grown since being guests on people's podcast shows. And which you offer up your lead magnets or whatever. And hey, Tim, you're sharing your content. You're sharing what you know, and you're serving people, and you're increasing your exposure a lot by a bazillion. Yeah. Maybe not a bazillion, but you know what I mean.
Yes, I do know what you mean. And you can take those episodes and, again, use it for content. Mm-hmm. And reach someone else's audience. And on your website, you can have as seen on, right? And put all these podcasts. Like, people are like, wow, if she's being interviewed, she must be pretty awesome. Hi, Tim. I didn't really say hi personally, so I had to.
Now, here's a big mistake that some people do not do is when they are a guest on someone's show, they do not really promote it that much. I'm like, promote the crap out of it. Email your list, promote it on social media, get little snippets. But here's the big thing. Put it on your own website as well.
You have to.
Don't just share their link. Like you know what I mean? Like you'll notice in my website, you'll see podcasts, obviously my own podcasts, but you'll see a post of one that I was on. And I create a special custom branded graphic for shows that I'm on. And then I've got the show notes and obviously the click to the link to the other person's website where the audio was actually hosted. But again, those backlinks help them. You've got the content on your website. It's a win-win.
It is. Yes, it is better late than never, Tim. So just to reiterate in a different way what Lyndsay said, so you don't want to be promoting and sending people to another person's website. You want to make sure they're always going to your website so you can pixel them with the Facebook pixel, grab their attention with other things. So as Lyndsay said, make a summary of it and say, if you want to listen to the full episode, clicky, clicky.
Absolutely. And make sure you've got sidebars with opt-ins, pop-ups, whatever you want. Yeah. Convert the list.
So let's talk a little bit about strategy. I'll tell you my strategy for getting on podcasts. The number one thing you need is Lyndsay, do you know?
One sheet.
Oh! So if you go, I'm sure Lyndsay has one too, but if you go to my website, oneclicklindsey.com, you'll go to work with me and you'll see a copy of my one sheet. And essentially it's a picture of me, a bio where you can see me, what other podcasts I've been on, and a list of questions that you could ask me for a podcast. And at the top it says, your next guest. And that's the number one thing you need. Again, if you garble all that content and send it off to Fiverr, you can get that made nicely for $5, or you can contact Lyndsay for a real one and she'll make you one, I'm sure. Right, Lyndsay?
Yeah, well, I've got a graphic artist on staff. Absolutely.
David says he has one. Fantastic.
Awesome. And I love it when, I don't know about you, but I love it when I am interviewing someone and they have topics and they have questions already lined up.
Yes.
Because it's like, it's just a starting point, right? So you can envision what the podcast episode would be like. Because sometimes when you're like, okay, what do they do? And then you really got to dig and figure out what the topic would be and what the questions. You want to make it as easy as possible for the host and give them ideas of what the topic would be. And then, obviously they're going to ask their own questions, but that is gold, right? Like, it makes life.
And that's kind of the point, is you want when you ask to be on someone's podcast, you got to make it as easy as possible, and you need to look as professional as possible, and it's not as hard as you might think.
No.
So one sheet, and then I take that bad boy one sheet, I go hunting for podcasts. I find an episode that I find the title interesting. I whip up an email and I say, I was listening to XYZ episode of your amazing 123 podcast. Yeah. I was wondering how to go about being a guest. Here's my one sheet. I would love to talk about XYZ. I think it would service your audience. Yes. Thanks a bunch. One-Click Lindsey. You send that out to 50 people, you could easily have 10, 15 podcasts. Gosh. Easily.
Absolutely.
You just want to make it personalized, that you're not just spamming people. That's really important.
Totally. And it's like, if you reference something that's on their site,
yes,
if it's like a genuine, authentic, like, you're going to have to take the time to do it. You can't just have a templated. No, it's not cool. And like, connect with them on social, right? Like their stuff, comment on their stuff, and they'll see your name pop up and they'll be like, oh, I remember her. She's watching my social media. All those little extra steps.
It's way easier than you think it would be to be interviewed on these podcasts. So you guys can totally put in the elbow grease and make it happen. And probably for the subject line, I would say like the name of their podcast or something, because that always always makes the podcast feel not important.
Be a guest.
Yeah. Totally.
Who are you?
Are you still on podcasts a lot, Lindsay?
I am. I'm actually, this was another tip I was going to give, is that all those guests that I have on my show, right now, I'm compiling a list of like, okay, of them, who has their own show. And so I will be, so for you out there who have been on my show, I'm going to be contacting you soon, because I would love to, if obviously if it's in sync, right? You have to know that it's a fit, that your material is going to serve their audience, because really they're going to think, what's in it for me? What's in it for my audience? They don't care about me personally. But yeah, I'm going to do that next.
Yeah, that's awesome. That's a really good idea.
You don't know, right? I just got asked the other week. I'm like, hey, I think I would be a great speaker on this summit. And so I approached them. I gave them, I've been here. I've done this. Here's what I think I can talk about. We booked a call. Boom. I'm in a summit. So it's like,
you are also really awesome. So there's that. Let's talk about podcasting misconceptions, Lindsay.
Oh my God. Yeah. There are a few out there.
There are. I have one in mind. You could start though. I feel like I'm always starting.
No, I was gonna say I feel like I'm talking too much and you're not.
Oh, good. We both feel that way. Must have been a long day. You just finished that drink. Number one is that you're going to be on someone's podcast, or you're going to host your own podcast, and you're going to like reach 1 million people, or 1 million people are going to download your episodes, and you're going to be like almost instantly famous. I will raise my hand. 4 or 5 years ago, when I got booked on my first podcast, I was like super nervous, and I was like, who's going to hear this? And like, when is the phone going to ring? That's not. No. Were you like that, Lindsay? Are you willing to admit you were like that?
I knew it was a long-term game going into it.
Oh, you did? Oh, yeah, because you had customers that were on podcasts.
Pardon me?
Like, because you had already like been in the podcasting world. Like, I had never even thought about podcasts. Like, I didn't even listen to podcasts.
I guess I just know that content marketing in general is not an instant ROI.
Yeah.
It's not like you post a blog and you get 5 clients. Like, it doesn't work that way. It's a long-term game.
It is, but works.
I know, and people are like obsessed with their freaking downloads, right? And then a month later, why don't I have like 1,000 downloads per episode? It's like, it takes a while to gain traction and like get following and share it, and it takes a while.
But even if it has taken a while, like, isn't the average 150 per episode or something?
Yeah, totally.
Yeah. 150 downloads per episode. What the
thing is, though, is people look at like John Lee Dumas and, oh my God, he has 10,000 downloads per episode. So they just think that they need to achieve that. He's been podcasting for freaking forever.
Well, and he kind of started a certain type of podcast as well.
Yeah.
Like he yeah.
And he does it like an episode a day.
Does he do an episode a day?
Yeah, he does like 5 a week. So he's like completely
that's right.
hard. And the more frequent you do, the more of a following you get. But
is that true?
Mm-hmm.
So if you do a 5-day-week podcast, you'll get more listeners? Oh, that sounds really hellacious, though. Can I say that?
I could not do it. I love podcasting, and I could not do it.
If we didn't have, like, client work, right? Say hi if you're there. I see you. I see all of you.
I know.
Say hello, or at least give us a heart or a thumbs up. Lindsay is not the type to ask, but I will.
Yeah.
I'm hosting tonight. I'm hosting.
Damn Skippy. The other thing is people think, oh, I'm going to earn all this sponsorship money.
Yes. That's a good one.
Oh, come on now, people.
No, I don't even think, I mean, you have, I just like, yeah, you're not going to get a sponsorship. I'll just say it like that. If you do, prove me wrong.
Like, you have to have a crap load of downloads in order to get sponsors.
Oh, we have Dr. Strucko on.
I was just going to say that.
I see my wonderful contractor, Emily. She's amazing. Hi, Emily.
I've dealt with Emily. She is very nice.
Isn't she lovely? Yeah. So yeah, podcasting. Yeah. But you have to, like, let's turn that around though. Even if you get 100 downloads per episode, right? Which is below the average. That's 100 people a week that are listening to you.
Captivated.
Like, yes.
I know. And how many things out there can get that much attention? You know what I mean? It's amazing.
Yes, you should all start podcasting. I don't care about the niche. You should just start podcasting now.
And you know what? If you're taught, and this is the other thing too, that people feel like if they start a podcast show and they've got a name and they've got a niche and they're doing their thing, that they're stuck in that path forever.
Oh, that's a good point.
Yes. You can change the artwork, you can change the name, you can change the format, you can do whatever the hell you please.
Yes, I like that you brought that up because I was even stuck in the, well, how are you supposed to do a podcast? This is a piece of art. You can do whatever the freak you want. And if you can even get outside of the box, wonderful. So be it. Yeah.
And it's like, Lindsay. Don't just do it because it's a good marketing strategy. Like, you got to have fun with it, right? You have to talk about a topic that you love and you're passionate about. And if you're doing, like, I know, like Jessica, we know with Margie, they're doing women's-splaining some women's thing that's completely off topic with their business. But because
they're passionate about it, yeah.
Yeah, and they love it and they have fun and they get their own following doing that. So it's like, even if you think something that's like totally crackpot, do it for yourself. I mean, if it catches on, great. I was talking to Melanie Benson, who's like amazing mindset coach, money mindset. And she's like, I've done a few different kinds of podcasts, and the first couple like sucked, or not sucked, but they didn't really take off, right? And so she reinvented herself, and then the one she has now is uber successful. So sometimes you just need to tweak things, and that's why I changed my format. Part of the reason why I changed my format a little bit, to see like if it's okay to change things. Just do what makes you what's right, and also check the stats and the numbers and what is getting you a good ROI in your business. Like one of my clients, I was surprised. I wasn't sure how he was doing with his podcasts in relation to his blogs and other content marketing strategies. And his downloads are insane. And then we tracked where they're coming from and blah, blah, blah. So I'm like, you cannot stop podcasting. Like, clearly it's driving traffic to your website. So therefore, you need to know what's working.
I love it. I love it. So that's it, folks.
Yeah. We covered a lot.
Yeah, start podcasting. Reach out to Lindsay if you have any questions on it, though. She'll set you up for it.
There you go. I do love podcast. I love podcast production. It's fun for me. And we have such a smooth system. It's like boom, 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 boom.
Yeah. You guys are really good at it. You are definitely good at it.
And we do, like, for those that are guests on other people's shows, we track it. Because this is the other thing, right? You're on all these shows. And then what? You just leave it a chance to find it when they go live? It's like, so we track it. Sometimes they don't go live. Or it's like, I don't know. Some hosts are not the best.
Yeah. Again, it's your own show. They can do whatever they want. Yeah.
But sometimes they don't give you the graphics, the links. They just like, hey, it's live. And then you got to figure it all out yourself. So yeah.
Some don't even tell you it's live. Some won't even email you. Yeah.
Insane to me. That's crazy. So
Thanks, David. Yeah, David says, fantastic info, ladies.
So yeah, you got to find out if it goes live. You got to publish it and promote it. And yeah, we do that obviously as well. So,
but the first step is to get on podcasts, and it's not as hard as you might think.
And know that the first couple episodes, they're going to suck. So just give yourself a break and move on.
Yeah. You're going to say a lot. You just are. But remember, there's no podcast police. So put yourself out there and start your own podcast and or be a guest on podcasts. Probably start by being a guest.
Yeah,
and then posting your own is going to be so super easy.
Oh, yeah, you're going to be like a smooth talker, man.
Yes. Or just FYI, there are services out there that will do both for you. They will find you guests to be on your podcast, and you can be and if like you don't feel like doing this, like there's some that will do like $300 or $400 and book you on a whole bunch of podcasts. So like Interview Valet, Interview Connections. Yeah. Do you know any others? Interview Valet, Interview Connections.
Yeah. Interviews That Convert, the Talent Squad. Interview Valet is fabulous. They contact me all the time.
Yeah, they're really good. Yeah.
They're so sweet.
Yeah. So yeah, there's services out there.
Totally.
All right. Should we sign off?
I think we should.
All right. I'm One-Click Lindsey with trafficandleads.com. Can I put it in?
Yeah.
If your website is sitting dead in the water and you need more traffic and leads, definitely reach out to me. We can help you with Facebook ads, SEO, pay-per-click, content marketing, email marketing, funnels, tie it all up in one, and do it all for you and generate more traffic and leads. If you want to build a strong online foundation for your online marketing and you want to do it yourself, that makes sense. So you can go ahead and go to theclicktechnique.com, which is if you put your email in, you get a free 5-day crash course in building a strong online marketing foundation and access to my Facebook group that Lindsay always snarls at because I always plug it. So make sure that you go to theclicktechnique.com. The end.
But you didn't give that website until the very end. So
I know. I need to seed that bad boy a whole lot more. I did a crappy job seeding tonight. Look, I got your URL right.
Yeah, you did. So, of course, we are everything content marketing, so you can attract and acquire customers faster, whether it's blogs, video marketing, email marketing, social, and, of course, podcasts. We do the whole content marketing strategy. We publish, promote, and optimize and analyze to make sure that you're growing your business and meeting your goals.
I love it. I love it. All right. Until next time.
All right.
Oh, what are we talking about next week? Let's talk about it.
We always wait to the last minute. We suck. How about we haven't done really like videos.
All right. Videos.
Video killed the radio.
And Lindsay will be presenting her version of Video Killed the Radio Star next week. Let's tune in.
I love music. All right.
Okay, that sounds good. Video marketing.
All right.
Au revoir.
Yeah. Bye, everyone.